So that is the view of Postecoglou, but how will the Spurs supporters be feeling about potentially helping Arsenal win the title? Well, let's get the view of one now. Former Apprentice winner Lee McQueen joins us live now. Lee, good to speak to you. How conflicted do you feel ahead of tonight's game?
I don't know why we're both smiling, to be honest. It's something that you can't really smile about, to be fair. Look, well, we want to win. We want to win football matches. That's what we're here for. And it'll be packed out. I know you've just shown a graphic about lots of tickets that are up for sale, but it'll be packed out at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight. But we definitely don't want to be handing the advantage. And I think that's key to say, that it is only an advantage, not handing the title, because there's still another game to play. But handing the advantage to Arsenal has to be a no-no. And I understand what Andrew's saying, and professionals and the integrity of the game. Of course, they're going to say that. But us fans are passionate fans, and we can't see our North London rivals, that are originally from South London, let's not forget, lift the title because we've given them that advantage. That just can't happen, can it, Joe?
Well, I'm going to give you a little scenario here because you're at the match, you're watching the match, you're behind in the match. Spurs then score a late equaliser or a winner. You know the consequences. Do you celebrate?
Yeah, look, I think you do. Unfortunately for me, I'm not going tonight. Actually, weirdly, I'm a season ticket holder in Block 252 in the South Stand, but I've got to work, so I'm not going tonight. But metaphorically speaking, yeah, I think you do. In the moment, of course, you cheer. People say, "I'm going to cheer for City. I'm going to do this. I'm going to wear a City shirt." But when all's said and done, you're there to support your team. I think it's the aftermath, when it really sets in, that you start to realise that Arsenal fans are celebrating the fact that Spurs have won. That's when it starts to hit home that you might have just given them the advantage.
And of course, the victory would keep Tottenham in that race for the Champions League. I mean, hearing from a lot of fans talking, some of them sounding like they would rather miss out on Champions League football if it could stop Arsenal winning the title. What's your stance on that?
Yeah, I think it's quite split, actually. I mean, I co-host Last Word On Spurs, as you know, and we do a show every week, a couple of shows every week. I think we had over 5,000 viewers watching it this week, and we had this debate, and it was quite split in terms of the viewers and the listeners that are sending in, we want to lose or we want to win, that type of stuff. But I think it's an interesting one because the Villa result last night makes it slightly different. I think if Villa had lost, there was a big opportunity for us to kind of go through the back door, essentially, or nick the Champions League. I know mathematically, Joe, it's still possible with them drawing yesterday, but we have to win our last two games, right? As you can see on the graphic there. So, and we also have to hope that Palace will do something for Villa. So I do think, and I think a lot of Spurs fans that I speak to in and around the stadium on our show as well, I think that, top five would be an amazing achievement. I say an achievement, a good result for us this year. I think everybody needs to understand and remember when Postecoglou first came into the football club, we were in absolute disarray. There were pundits on your very show on Sky talking about a relegation battle. They were talking about no way we're getting top half table with Harry Kane leaving, and Harry Kane left 12 hours or so before we kicked off the Brentford game. So the fact that we're actually even talking about a top four race with 2 games to go is unbelievable, really. The points totals that we've got, the amount of goals that we've scored. Let's not talk about how many we conceded, to be fair, but the amount of goals we've scored, the amount of points that we've got at this stage of the season, it is right up there with any manager we've had in our recent history. So, I think the season as a whole is a good one. The perfect example result would have been that Arsenal are finishing below us, essentially, but that's obviously not going to happen. And you've got to give it to them as well, right? A lot of Spurs fans won't like me saying this on national TV, but they've been brilliant this year. One of my best mates is an Arsenal fan. And the reality is they've scored more goals than anyone else. They've conceded less goals than anyone else. They've been absolutely superb. But we are playing the cheat code tonight, aren't we? The FIFA cheat code, which is the super club of Man City. And I think people are worried about us beating them. I'm not even sure that we're capable of beating them based on our current run of form, Joe. So I think, what will be, will be. I'm hoping that, we finish strong in terms of the Sheffield United game for sure. But we can't be handing the advantage to Arsenal.
Yeah, you've already mentioned your seat. You're not going to be able to be at the match tonight. We were just talking a moment ago. There does appear to be lots of available seats on the Tottenham ticket exchange. What do you make of that? Is that quite disappointing to see?
A little bit, but I think it's an interesting one because the game was moved. You've got to remember that we got a lot of flack actually from rival fans saying that we've done a lap of appreciation on Saturday. We've still got 2 games to go. Or sorry, on Sunday, and the fact is we can't do a lap of appreciation tonight because the game won't finish till 10 o'clock at night. So obviously it's a school night for a lot of people, so they won't take their families. So that has an effect essentially on them tickets. Plus the fact that, maybe it is the Man City game and the Arsenal rivalry piece there as well. I mean, it is so difficult. We're so torn as Spurs fans because, people will say if you're proper Spurs, you don't want Arsenal to win the title, let's lose. But actually as well, when you're there watching the game, when you're in the moment, when you're watching even on the TV, you want your team to win. So it's slightly disappointing, but I think they'll fill up. I think we'll be surprised at the end. I don't think there'll be lots of empty seats when the game kicks off.
And of course, Lee, we know you as a former apprentice winner. Just wondering if you've heard from Lord Sugar about his thoughts on tonight's situation.
No, I haven't actually. To be fair, I haven't spoke to Lord Sugar for a bit. It'd be interesting actually, as the ex-chairman, owner of our wonderful football club, Tottenham Hotspur, whether or not he will be cheering on Man City tonight. I'm not 100% certain. I think there is that professionalism, as we talked about earlier with Ange Postecoglou, that they want to win the game. But there will be. I mean, we see quotes from Les Ferdinand when this situation happened in, I think it was '99, wasn't it? When Arsenal were kind of cheering us on, and Les Ferdinand scored for us to put us 1-0 up. He's thinking, hang on, is this the right thing to do? So I think it's definitely added a bit of jeopardy to where we were. I think one of the key things that I would like to surmise on is saying we are part of a title race which we're not involved in, and next year and the year after, we want to be involved in these title races and not being the team that may or may not help someone else win it.
Lee, a quick prediction for tonight then.
Well, their record at Tottenham is not great at all. Jackie was just speaking in the VT, wasn't she, with Pep before Premier League in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 4 wins, no goals conceded for Spurs, and we're a bit of a bogey team. They've lost 6 against us, but they did get that win in the FA Cup earlier in the season, which was. I mean, they battered us, to be fair. It was only 1-0, but they battered us and we couldn't get near them. So I'm actually going to. It's so difficult. I find it hard to predict a loss, but they are a cheat code, and we're not on good form. And I think City are going to have too much for us. So I think we're going to end up losing 2-1 tonight.
Lee, brilliant to talk to you. Enjoy tonight, whatever happens. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Joe. All the best.
Right, just 4 days to go until Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk fight to become undisputed heavyweight